Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Got an exciting program today, so I'm going to get started. Let's get started with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Chaplain Tim is somewhere. There we go.
And so let's join our hearts together in a word of prayer. Gracious God, for the many ways in which you work in our lives, we give you thanks. And on a very tense day, we just pray for a sense of peace and calm. Also help us to continue to find ways to share kindness and love in a world in need. Be with us as we hear from each other today, as well as we hear about what's going on in our community. We pray all this in your holy name. Amen.
All right, let's have some lunch and we'll pick up the business meeting after. All right, he's working, testing. All right. Okay, hopefully we're all kind of getting finished up. Feel free to keep eating as I chat away. Just a few announcements for the good of the club. First off, I just wanted to mention dues. Drew has brought it up to the board a couple of times. There's a fair percentage of the membership that are behind on dues, whether knowingly or not. So I would just encourage you to take a look and make sure you've paid. You know, we don't want to come on anybody down. Drew certainly doesn't want to have to do that. So I would just encourage you to check and see if you've paid, and if you have a question about it, to reach out to him and ask. Couple events that are upcoming. Also, first, I don't know if everybody heard me. There's a project going on. The cards are going tonight with Cheryl to Muskegon Club, and it's for Veterans Day, sending holiday cards to veterans. So there's a bunch of blank holiday cards on all the tables. You just fill it out, wishing you a happy holidays, that sort of thing. Cheryl asked if everybody could do two. We'd have quite a big stack of them. So if you got a couple of minutes while you want to tune me out and just write down 2 holiday cards for our veterans, that would be great. She'll take them. Maybe JB can help collect them during the tail twisting or something like that. Just don't seal the envelope and don't sign it anything other than your first name. Don't put any personal information. So, couple other updates. Next Tuesday, November 12th, we've got a kind of a get-together social event, new thing that we're sort of trying. It's called Lions on Lion. John Rice will talk about it, but just kind of an open invitation to get together for a happy hour type thing. It's at Woodrow Duck Pins, which is what used to be GP Sports in the main floor of the Amway there. It's on Lion Street, Lions on Lion. This is, if it goes well, we'll probably just kind of have this as a monthly little happy hour get together. What brought this about was, several people voiced, concern isn't the right word, but, inviting potential members and guests to a luncheon can be intimidating. So we thought we'd offer up just another alternative to where you can come and have a beer together with other Lions, and feel free to bring your family or friends, or whatever. It's very open-ended. This is not anything super structured. So if you're around next Tuesday evening, we'll be doing that. There's also an event on November 16th. This is the fundraiser for the bike that was donated to ABVI. Guzman is going to be riding the bike 50 miles around Millennium Park that day. Every 2 miles, a sponsor or anybody that wants to ride alongside him. This is a tandem bike, side-by-side bike. And so there's going to be a link online to sign up and donate. I think, is that right, Gary?
Everybody's email.
Okay. So that's on Saturday, November 16th. Let's see. Is there anybody else that has anything, other announcements for the good of the club? Holiday shopping is obviously December 7th, and I've got an item to get to there. But before I do, does anybody else have any other?
The 19th Exodus project.
Right, 19th is November 19th, which is also a Tuesday, day of our next meeting. is a service project in the evening at Flat River Ministries. And if you're interested in helping out with that, I believe Guzman is the contact on that.
The bike ride in Millennium Park, the 50-mile bike ride, it starts at 10 o'clock. We're looking for people to sign up for like 2-hour shifts, 10 to 12, or come 12 to 2. And just we kind of want to know how many are volunteering to ride a bike. Somebody's got to steer it because Ocean can't see where he's going. So being in Millennium Park, it's easy to get lost, but we'll have signs up, so it'll be easy enough to find the 2-mile loop. I've made the loop myself 3 or 4 times, and we end up in Grant Pavilion, so it's easy to change over there. We'll have refreshments and stuff, and
so we're
the 16th. It's a week from Saturday.
So I think we're looking for volunteers, fundraisers, and sponsors.
And attendees, just to come and cheer, and because every 2 miles they're going to be coming back again. So 50.
50 and 20.
And this is going out to the whole district, so it's not just our club doing it.
Okay, so going in chronological order here, next is holiday shopping, December 7th, and then December 14th is the holiday party at Blythefield. I think that's right. Anything I'm missing on that? I'm guessing we're gonna have an RSVP list out soon for that by email, but 6 o'clock on December 14th, Blythefield Country Club. Any other announcements?
Pass this around. If you haven't signed yet, sign up for the Christmas book. December 7th, and I also pass around the box if you can't make it for some reason. You want to contribute toward helping another child, that'd be great. So, thank you.
Perfect. And while we're on the holiday shopping topic, that project got a significant donation that we just want to recognize today. And so I'd like to invite Thad Phelps up, and Ann, would you like to, and Kelly, and I'm going to present them with a certificate. So this is, so first off, it just, the popularity and use of this project has grown over the years, and it a lot of funds are needed to take care of the cost of this. And so there was a significant donation made by Advanced Wealth Management. And so we've got, first off, a presidential letter. Thank you. And then Gary has a certificate of appreciation as a past international director. This one says Jeremiah's name on it. That one says Advanced Wealth Management. But either way, we appreciate all you guys have done.
Well, it's wonderful to have members such as Thad and Kelly and their family. Jeremiah is a brother, and he certainly was instrumental. He just kept emailing me and saying, he had heard about knew about the holiday shopping event, and of course you guys participated last year. This is our 21st year of doing it, not just us, but whoever came before us. And so we're very, thrilled to have the donation that was made in your name as a AWM. And the other thing that we knew is that the grant came through, but it was half of what it is normally. And we haven't had that happen before, so it couldn't have come at a better time. The donations are going to really help us through. We've got 50 kids waiting to get shopping. So thank you again for all that you've done, and for your family, and for being members. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
I need a smile. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Now steal that microphone back.
Almost ready to take over.
She's like that.
Yeah, I know. Okay, let's see what else I got. Tail twister. And by the way, I got an update from Drew. The pot is about $467. So it hasn't been one in a while.
That's a lot of pot.
You're up.
Okay.
Do you want that?
This is a small room, we can take, I think my voice can carry all the way to the back. Anyways, normally, you know, I say something about pins, I got my pin on, I'm not really looking to collect on pins today, so you can volunteer if you want, since I see somebody grabbing for his wallet. But since I showed up late, I figured that's, you know, we'll ease off everybody on that. Okay, also, train of thought, Christmas. Yeah, I know. Yeah. What day is it? Happy bucks. Anybody have some happy bucks?
Yeah, I got my $2 for the year. I'm done. Been a
They're
good
worth
season.
$2.50 a piece. Sorry, I had to go. But I have happy bucks. I've happy for two ways on this. Been out to Massachusetts twice over the last few months, taking some, pulling a trailer both times. Really long trips that way. Been here, particularly when one of the trailers isn't balanced right. But so I got to see my kids and grandkids a bit, and I don't have to take that trip again for a while. Yeah, taking 17 hours on the one was sort of a long trip. So happy bucks. Other ones. Lynn.
We just got back from Charleston, South Carolina. I have a granddaughter down there in college. And we're back a week, and tomorrow, this time I'll be in Marathon, Florida.
Nice.
Yeah. So we just got back from our last trip of the year, San Antonio and Denver, and put our RV to bed. And the other thing is go Lions. Not only the club Lions, but the football team.
Yes, Scott.
I'll give a happy buck. My granddaughter's a diver for Catholic Central, and the good news is she broke her own school record 2 weeks ago for 232 points. So that's the best that she's done. Bad news is she just dislocated her shoulder. So we'll see if we get her back for states.
Everybody's happy today. I love this.
Happy bucks, because after today, I will not have to see any more political campaign.
Everybody can drop $1. So
Happy bucks, selfishly, I was named to West Michigan's list of 200 most influential people.
Wow. Past President Shelley.
And another happy buck.
Granddaughter Nora turned 1 for the first.
We just competed in the marching band state competition. So Byron Center got second again, and then Jennison got number 1. So
Okay. I think that's it.
Our speaker, but we'll introduce him.
Okay. And I'm gonna come around and pick up all these here.
One other note, if anybody didn't get it, the parking pass is the sticker. You have to put it on your, I think I got it here. You get your parking ticket and there's a blank spot in the middle. There's a little sticky barcode down at the end of the bar here. Put that on it and you get out of the garage for free. It's right here. It's right here. I got the bag.
Oh, you got the bag.
Does every team got this?
Bag.
Get this, Bob?
467.
We kept going in. We'll go over to our
First winner is
guest.
$5.
This one is good for $5. Second one is the draw.
Not that one. Last four is 4892. Thank you.
Okay, and I
think that's a 50% commission.
goes to Tim Petra.
Come on, Buckman. Last four to 4849.
Okay, I
He's
dropped
lucky.
the,
He is
I
Mr.
dropped the
Lucky.
white one in already.
Sure you did.
Am I coming over to you, friend? Okay.
All right. Go Ohio State.
That's not the spirit of life.
Well, thank you.
All right, and I'm gonna have Bob come up and introduce our speaker today, Dan McConnon, my apologies, from All-in-Pickleball.
Dan McConnon, involving the community, it was always part of his dream and his vision for a facility all in pickleball. And he's got a lot of support from the community and also in the all-in pickleball community. When Dan signed the lease for the building, about 21,000 square feet, the vision became life. And it's still opened up in April down at Byron Center. And we've got another place open very soon.
Yeah, Bob.
Very soon in Rockford. So let's give it up for Dan McConnon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here. So I want to start with, this is not going to be a presentation. I want this to be very communicative. So interrupt me often, ask questions. This is so much, I think, for what I want you to learn about pickleball and what we do at all in pickleball gym. So I don't think this is a shy group, so don't be shy. So we're going to talk about a few things. So who am I? Who's this person coming to you to talk about pickleball today? Why is pickleball so popular? What is the growth of pickleball looking like in Kent County as well as West Michigan in general? And is doing a pickleball fundraiser a good idea? So a little about me, and Bob gave a little introduction. So I am from Grand Rapids, born and raised, so it's always been home base. So I went to Forest Hills Northern, Forest Hills Eastern for high school, graduating in 06 from Forest Hills Eastern. So that was the first graduating year for that high school. I now live on the northwest side, very close to Richmond Park, West Catholic, so not far from where we're at today. So I am 37 years old. Sorry, I know that's a touchy topic, but it's fun and it plays into the pickleball age of where things are going now. So I went to school at GMI Kettering University, so I have a mechanical engineering degree. I still work for Dematic. I have the day off, don't worry, I took a vacation day. And so I'm in enterprise sales there. So we do warehouse logistics solutions while also being the founder and the majority owner of All-in-Pickleball Gym. I have 3 partners. You can see them there in the corner. I am a lifelong Lions fan, so I went from hopeful to proud now as they continue to do well. So go double Lions, as everyone said. And I'm also a certified instructor. I love teaching. So this game is so amazing because you don't have to fit everything into a tight little box. There's not one perfect way to play pickleball. It's just simply putting people in the right positions for success, which is what life really is about in general anyway. So I'll give a good introduction on the story, but I was first introduced to pickleball in middle school. And so coming off of a spinal injury I had in 2013-14, I couldn't play sports that I was playing a bunch, a lot of sand volleyball, flag football, higher impact sports that kept causing some issues with the spine. So pickleball being lower impact was quite a big deal. And so I fell in love with it. And at that point, Belknap Park, just over there on Coldbrook, it had 4 courts, and now it's expanded over the years to 21 courts. It is the largest outdoor facility we have in the Midwest. There's many, many more as pickleball grows are going bigger, but it did house the Pierce City Open for the 5th time this year. And I have a slide later, but that tournament was a national pro tournament that had all of the top pros for a team-based league called Major League Pickleball. And it had a $2.4 million economic impact in 1 week in July for the city of Grand Rapids in terms of that. And I'll flip to it quick, but it actually just recently won an award. So it won a mid-market champion commission award for economic impact. So does pickleball make an economic impact? Yes, it absolutely does. And it does so because it can draw so many spectators. It's so connective still in terms of how social it is. I'm bouncing around a little bit. It's so easy to learn. And so coming off that spinal injury, I relearned the game, and then the mastery kicked in. And if any of you remember at any point when you fell in love with something and you're like, I don't want to stop doing it because there's so much more I can learn, so much more. Pickleball reminds me of just reading a good book over and over, because every time you play someone different, every time you go, there's so much different style. There's so much ways to do it, the strategy. You're playing chess on a 44 by 22 court. So on top of that, there's low barriers for entry, so you don't have to have expensive equipment. You can do it portably too. Before having the infrastructure that West Michigan does, many people would tape lines down on tennis courts and have portable nets instead of the permanent setups that we have in West Michigan. The social benefits, why pickleball exploded during the pandemic, was you can keep distance while still being able to be outside and enjoy one another and still compete. Very rare compared to other sports where that wasn't really, possible. And on top of that, it combines so many other sports, tennis, badminton, ping pong in particular. And so when you're at the baseline here, very tennis-like. When you're in the midcourt, that has a lot of badminton, even volleyball-like tendencies in terms of your ability to reset and handle balls out of the air, volley. And then when you get to the non-volley zone, or what's affectionately called the kitchen, it's the same length as a table tennis table. So as you're doing there, you're working to move your opponents around laterally, create openings. And if there's a pop-up, sayonara, right? Pop it down, try to win the point. So has anyone in here not played pickleball, not seen pickleball? Everyone's been exposed to pickleball? Okay. We talked a little already, so we're gonna get you going on that. Did anyone have a bad pickleball experience? Yeah, let's hear it.
You compare it to ping pong.
In elements, yes.
Interesting story. I bought my wife a ping pong table last Christmas, and we played every day until we went away from the sun. Every day. We loved it. And my son asked me later in the summer, hey, Dad, let's play some pickleball. Can we do it? I said, no. So I did it, and that ball just doesn't bounce like a ping pong.
Sure doesn't. Nope. No, it absolutely doesn't. But I would say in that element, the way you push people on a table tennis table, moving them around, has a lot of spatial similarities, but the ball and the paddle absolutely are different. Not only in size, but in bounce and in composition, I do agree. So, does anyone have any questions about what a pickleball court looks like, a general setup, anything like that?
Dan, do you have dates for your city open next year?
Yeah, it is the second week of July, right after the holiday.
So tell us about the paddle and the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a wiffle ball. So it's going to be about this big. It's got holes in it. So there's indoor and outdoor balls. Indoor balls have bigger holes. So an indoor ball is made for a multi-surface court, like a basketball or a carpet court. So its bounce coefficient is set up for that type of court. An outdoor court is concrete based. So that way both balls end up bouncing the same, whether it's, based on the surface that you have. And the holes that are drilled into an outdoor ball are a little bit smaller. So part of that is just the science of how it travels through the air and how it bounces particularly. And then paddles, there's regulations on the amount of surface area you have to have, but a paddle is gonna be about this big, and it has, you can elongate it to have it a little longer. You can make it stubby, but there's some fun paddle technology over the last 2 years that's really sprung. And the biggest components of it are the core material, which tends to be a polymer-based honeycomb, so it can absorb and deflect back. And then the surfaces have been introduced with technologies around polycarbon. There's a local company called Revlon Sports that makes it out of cobalt, and they call it Lavatech. So that's pretty interesting and cool. So that grit, if you will, helps that spin coefficient and the dwell time on the paddle, and that's what can help generate massive spin. So, and then of course, there's all things like fun colors and designs and marketing that go into those paddles as well.
So like a ping pong paddle.
It's a large ping pong paddle is a nice way of looking at it, because it's not strings, so it's closer to a larger table tennis paddle compared to a tennis racket. Absolutely. Yes.
Can you share with us a little bit about who are the sponsors for like the Beer City and the prize money?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let me just forgive me. There's a ton of sponsors, so that's why I want to do it justice. I gotta share that stuff. So AHC Hospitality, so the Amway, along with Rooftop Pickleball, they were a presenting sponsor. Pioneer Construction, Pepsi, and Fat Tire. So with the Beer City Open, they have, there's a beer stand with alcohol sales that they do at that as well. Priority Health, Elders Helpers, Boschman, Kilman, Vanderwall, which is a legal firm that Andrea Koop, who is the sponsoring pro, so she's the pro player that runs the Beer City Open, along with Paul Richards and about 450, 500 volunteers that do the Beer City Open every year. The University of Michigan Health West, Rooftop Pickleball, Regan Marketing, Wilson Pickleball, Lackhold Pickleball, which does the court painting, so that's the paint company that resurfaced Belknap Park. McClure's Pickles, ironic, but yes, ilovepickles.org. And then a number of other companies, local like Amplifier Vodka, Birch Lodge, the West Michigan Sports Commission, Linear Restaurant, Camps Pallets, JoJo and Low Pickleball. So there's a whole host of pickleball specific companies, companies that deeply love pickleball. So some of those companies that you hear, like, why is Camps Pallets there? But the camps, and in particular to Elders Helpers, the impact of pickleball for them personally and on their business is enough where they want to be a big part of these types of events. Does that help answer the question? Excellent.
What was the purse?
So there was no purse this year because it was the mid-season championship. And so, so with the pros, they won that mid-season championship. I think each of the winning teams split. There was no amateur purse is what I'm trying to tell you. Sorry. So for the pro purse, I think the winning team each split like $100,000. So they each got $25K on that winning component. And then this weekend, they're finishing the team-based part of their pro event. So they have two types of tours on the pros. They have the team-based Major League Pickleball, and then they have what they call the PPA or APP tours. There's two separate ones, very much like the ATP tour for tennis, where you form your teams or play singles and you do those events. You have women's and men's singles, gender doubles, and mixed doubles in those tournaments. So. Kind of jumped around on my story, but so after I found pickleball, naturally after falling in love with it, I took a hiatus, just an interesting job opportunity to travel 100% project manage. And coming out of that, working with a smaller integrator company, there was just a sense of ownership that I felt that I wanted to have moving forward. It was a maturing moment. And so when I boomeranged back to Dematic, took that ownership in my roles there, but I started developing a business plan around pickleball as the sport exponentially grew during the pandemic. And so from the beginning of 2022 till about 7 months in, I've finish my business plan. And as Bob said, in November, I decided to go for it. So I signed a lease in Byron Center, and then I took a 2-week trip to go visit operators throughout the country. And I met with them, open booked my plan, and made a network along the way. At that time, I was going to do the entire project by myself, and I actually ended up finding 3 partners, investors. So went from self-funding to moving towards that partnership, if you will, and it's been fantastic. So wouldn't change the journey of how it went. So we've been operating since April 21st of last year. We actually worked with the Grand Valley State Small Business Group too along the way, and we won a Small Business of the Year award from the Michigan Small Business Association, and got that at the Breslin here last May. So in our first year, we won that award too, which is really exciting. So we also have a second location that's coming in on Northland Drive and at the beginning of December, which another Rockford Lion, Ron Reachliger, it's his building. So a little line connection there, if anyone knows Ron. So that'll be opening here soon, and we're looking at additional growth. And I think how I want to share that is the sport in a 4-year span has grown 223.5% in terms of its population. So even from 2022 to 2023, it grew 51.8%. And so what that means is there's about 13.6 million players in the US, or 4% of the US population have played pickleball at a core level, meaning they played more than 8 hours in a year. So pickleball is still the fastest growing sport even this year, but it's not that it's the only racket sport. So tennis continues to grow. There's animosity because pickleball courts are taking over tennis courts. A lot of the reason that's happening is because you can fit 3 or 4 pickleball courts on a tennis court. So the per person impact for the community space is stronger for pickleball compared to tennis, which is mostly based in singles. So instead of 2 people in the same square footage, you get 16. So a lot of people don't think about that in terms of how that community impact, but pickleball, the way it's played, simply provides greater opportunity for more people. It's not necessarily about stealing away what tennis has. They both coexist and they both work well together. I just know that it's a touchy topic sometimes. So in general, the West Michigan Kent County community is incredibly strong. So the Grand Rapids Pickleball Club actually has over 1,800 paid club members. So those numbers have grown by the hundreds every single year during that pandemic, and their Facebook group has nearly 10,000 group members, which when I checked 2 years ago is double what they had 2 years ago. So, and every one of these groups, Rockford Pickleball, Forest Hills, Lowell, Byron Center, Holland, double or more their followers, their engagement in terms of those communities and their pickleball groups. So every major township in Kent County, so Alpine, Walker, Byron Center, Kentwood has their own courts. Rockford has 2 sets of courts. Cortland and Cannon Township have them. Obviously, Bonnet Park. And then, if you hadn't seen, the West Michigan Sports Commission just announced that they've raised enough money, the $13 million, to add 20 pickleball courts on 10 Mile, where they already have baseball fields and softball fields, to add more. So when you look at those numbers, just in Kent County alone, there's 91 existing outdoor pickleball courts, and there's plans for 20 plus additional ones already. And actually 2 weeks ago, East Grand Rapids announced they're going to add courts just north of Reed's Lake even. So everyone's looking to add these because of the impact pickleball has on what we describe exercise, socialization, the way the sport's growing. So when we talk indoors, which is obviously where I'm sitting at, so there's not a lot of dedicated indoor, and I stipulate dedicated as in we're just pickleball courts. We're not reusing tennis courts. We're not fighting over the same time. We're not doing it on a basketball or carpet. When you include those, there are lots of courts, but when you're looking at dedicated play and the level of play that everyone wants to have the same, you want to have premium play with premium lighting, barriers, my surface, not multiple lines. That's the kind of talk we're talking about. There's 28 courts in Kent County that will be open by the end of the year if some of the other groups that are putting courts in will finish on time before the calendar year. But when you look at what's planned for next year, including our growth at All-In, there's an additional 30. So the catch up in terms of getting a little closer to the amount of outdoor courts is a natural progression. Now, do you want to go 1 for 1? Probably not, because not everyone wants to pay to play because you're outside and you get free, but there's obviously a demand similar to what you might see with golf simulators that are really popular right now, additional indoor soccer fields. Coming out of the pandemic, recreation, socialization, and connection are a big deal. And so you see that in trends in terms of what's coming into the city and as well as nationally. So we talked about the economic impact that one event had. So we're trying to put an indoor facility about 5 minutes from the park on Ann and Turner. We need a use case variance with the city for 11 courts. But our hope would be able to help expand the Pier City Open during that time with 11 additional courts to go with the 21. Not only as a rain backup, but adding additional players and brackets. And so we hope to help grow that economic impact from 2.4 to something much bigger as part of that. So we met with the city last month and we needed 6 yes votes out of a 9 on the BZA. We got a 4 and 2 because 6 were there and 3 weren't. So we're hoping we'll get full attendance next month and get 6 positive votes in favor.
City Commission?
That is the Grand Rapids BZA. It's the Business Zoning Authority. So they meet once a month on the 3rd Thursday, so November 21st. So yep. So there was a motion to approve, and we got 4 yeses and 2 noes. So a lot there, but is doing a pickleball fundraiser a good idea? One really good case study as to yes is anyone familiar with Young Life as an organization? So Southwest Young Life in Potter's House, and we've done many charity fundraisers already in pickleball, but they were the most successful, I would say, pairing with the event as a pickleball anchor. So we had over 120 players register for the weekend in March 2nd and 3rd, so it wasn't the winter time. Just from the pickleball registrations alone, after the court fees and things that we had, so All In ran everything. We took care of registration, we took care of managing the tournament, anything on the pickleball side we managed. But what Young Life and Potter's House did a really good job is they went out to their connections, their community, they got items to raffle, they got donations, sponsors for the tournament, marketing components. So we ran a passive live stream. And so on the live stream, you could see all the play that was going on for 2 days and everyone's logos and whatnot were on that live stream. So you get a little bit of puff, right, for your sponsors, banners all over the place. And so they took the 3,400 that the pickleball came, but they also got to 10K on their own. So they raised another nearly $7,000 between sponsors, raffles, and whatnot, with a pickleball theme, helping anchor that. So, and that's just in a weekend in terms of raising funds. So, really good example of what could happen. If you did nothing but just have the tournament, you can raise anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000. If you add on top and try to maximize it, you can do a lot more.
Are the players from just the Byron Center area, or
No.
is it from the Grand Rapids
Oh,
community?
Up to even an hour and a half away. Yeah. So my heat map suggests, so for this fundraiser tournament, we actually had someone come from Ann Arbor to play. So people just want to play good pickleball and get games in. And so we have as much reach as I'd say conveniently 1.5 hours away. Yes.
Is that age-related, grouped up, or is it
Level.
ability?
It's
grouped up
level
also?
and bracket type. So it would be, really good example is, so on November 23rd and 24th, we have a Special Olympics of Kent County charity tournament we're doing. There's 9 brackets. So there's 3 level types. So beginner, intermediate, advanced, but then there's women's, men's, mixed. So 3-3, there's your 9. We do that over Saturday and Sunday. And so technically you could play 2 events because you can do your gender and you can do mixed. Yeah.
So it's not the responsibility of the nonprofit to create the teams.
Nope, everyone would sign up as partners. So we ask them to sign up with a partner, typically. And if they need help finding a partner, especially beginners who may not do that, we help them find people who want to play. We've done it the other way too, where we just rent out space and the organization runs their own tournament. We do it that way too. There is an opportunity to earn even more money because there's no management component from us. So I highly, we just had one that went, but the difference is being able to run a good tournament, marketing yourself. There's just a few things that if you're willing to do that, and we're more than happy to guide and help, that you can earn even more money by having your own group run those types of things. Yes.
So what do your facilities have? Just the courts, or you have locker rooms?
Yeah,
And then
so
what kind of cost is?
we have lounge, we have so when you walk in, we have our entryway. There's a pro shop to the right where we have paddles, balls, apparel. Welcoming area we call the lounge. So that's just a general hangout space. We have bathrooms and a changing room, tri-changing room. So we have 5 full-size courts, 2 full skinny single courts. They're full-length half widths. And then we have an unfinished mezzanine that should give us additional event space in the future.
Cost?
What's that?
The price?
Yeah, so I'll go through the membership component. So our philosophy in general is that membership for us is about how much access and how much value you want. So we have 3 forms of membership: our entry level, free, non-member, monthly, and annual. So everyone still pays a court fee no matter what. But if you already have a gym membership or other things you're committed to, being a non-member is a nice way to not have an additional fee. In the winter, if you're playing doubles, it's $9 per person per hour. So, and that's for a private reservation. There's also open plays, which provide lower value than that in terms of shaving some cost. If you're a monthly member, basically, if you play more than 12 hours a month, we recommend that. It's $25 a month for the membership, and you save $2 an hour. So you go down to $7 per hour per person. If you're playing just a ton, you're taking lessons. And we go through this with each member based on the value and access. Then we recommend the $420 up front for the yearly, and you pay $5 per person per hour. And in the summer, all those go down to a summer rate as well, so it's more economical in the summer. Yes?
Skinny.
Yeah, they're full length, half width. So we wanted to maximize our square footage. So we couldn't get any more full courts, so we call them trainer courts. So those are even more economical. They're like $2, $3, and $4 an hour. So we rent ball machines on them, so you can still do full drills. You can do skinny singles straight on. Yeah. And then with the different memberships too, you get the ability to look ahead more. So an annual member can book 10 days in advance, monthly 7, non-member 3 days. So by having a membership, you get more ability to reserve ahead. That's your advantage. But we never want to turn anyone away from trying to get access by having a membership be a gate wall.
What are your hours?
4 a.m. to midnight every day. We routinely have players from 5 a.m. to midnight. Everything is a reservation based too. We don't do walk-ins typically. So you use our software called Court Reserve that we use, and you get a unique key code every time. So it feels very much like a 24/7 fitness facility. You go on your app, you pay on your app, you get your receipts, you get your code, you type it in, walk in, good to go. Security cameras everywhere. And we are staffed a fair amount, but we like to give the flexibility that we can be autonomous. So, and I can run everything in the facility off my phone. So I can turn the lights on, I can change the music, I can do all of that. It's just part of, originally, when I was gonna do it all by myself, thank goodness I'm not, that I could have that, ability. Yes?
So my impression is that it draws a lot of seniors. Is that accurate?
You would be surprised. So the national average age for a pickleball player now is 34.9 years old. For our club, it's 38.7. So we have many, many seniors, but I would say our predominant age is really in that high 30s, low 40s.
And along with that, what do you see in the way of rate of injuries?
So the way I look at injuries is this. When you do anything new for the first time and you do it with repetition, if you don't build muscle groups and you don't stretch and exercise, you're going to hurt yourself. If all of a sudden you became a carpenter and all you did was hammer every day, if you didn't build those arm muscles properly, you're probably going to get a sore arm. And that's the same thing you see with pickleball and other sports too. And so injuries tend to happen because there's form issues. And so people jump into play and they might be doing things that are a little bit contrary. I'll give some specific examples. So I like to be tricky in my game. So I would hit a ball where I would take my elbow and I'd late turn with force. So I started to get tennis elbow because I was doing things that were torquing on my elbow in a way that just weren't allowing that to be a very good form. So I stopped. So I learned how to snap through, use my buys and tries to snap through and create a snap, which actually helped me hit stronger because I could snap through the ball with better form. There's a lot of players that don't, so pickleball is very lateral, right? You're doing a lot of side movement, which is why the shoes are different too. So Gary and I were talking about that. Don't wear running shoes or shoes without lateral support if you're playing pickleball. You need legit pickleball or tennis shoes that have the extra rubber material up through the side laterally. But if you don't stretch your heels, your plantar fasciitis up through your calf, there's so much lower body movement that you'll have leg strength from it, because it's much different than tennis where you're doing more full gliding motions, whereas in pickleball it's almost a little more shuttly in terms of like shuttle movements. So does that help answer the injury questions? Thank you. Pleasure.
Just had a quick question too. So assuming you're booked up this far in advance, if we were to think about some sort of fundraiser, what's the lead time on that? I mean, are we talking 6 to 12 months or?
Yeah, so I would talk to me now. Yeah, and I mean that sincerely. We have another location coming, which is helpful. We need more courts to hit demand, which is why we're doing it, and because we love it. I actually, like 2 weeks ago, I just put a charity fundraiser in for the first week of February and the first week of March. So we're already kind of hitting there. So yes.
Just one last question. How do we get state?
So there's two ways of looking at it. One was thought to be because the dog's name was Pickles. That was one of them. And then the other way was because the way that the ball was curated when they originally did it, they thought it looked like a pickle because of just its weird shape. So yeah, there's a little bit of lore there. But there's still opportunities throughout that, and with 4 additional courts too, we have flexibility. So it could be at the Byron Center location, it could be at the Rockford, it could be both, right? You could do a double feature. It's always possible. So great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Appreciate your time and so you can remember us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Oh, 6.